Hello everyone, I'm James Milan. Welcome to the Town Hall Update, our first in the month of May, and I am joined by our Town Manager, Jim Feeney, who has made the trek up Mass Ave to our studios, and we appreciate it. Jim, good to see you.
Glad to be here.
Yep. I particularly appreciate it given that town meeting's in full swing, so I know you had a late night last night, so thanks again for being here. We've got a number of things to talk about. We always do. We're going to talk about, well, we're going to start with talking about an accessibility grant, but then I would like to also have you speak to Memorial Day preparations. We've got Arbor Day activities. We've got the visit from the Nagaokakyo contingent, and that they were commemorating quite the milestone. And we have some officers from the Arlington Police Department that we really want to recognize. All those coming up, but let's start with the ADA accessibility grant related to the bike path.
Sure. Thank you, James. Pleased to again report that the town is bringing in a good amount of outside grant funding. This time, $186,000 from the Massachusetts Office on Disability for accessibility improvements down at the Ed Burns Arena. And this is actually going to be to construct a bike storage facility that is going to house adaptive tricycles adjacent to the Ed Burns Arena. And once completed, these adaptive tricycles will be available for rent through the Recreation Department so that they can be used right there on the Minuteman bikeway. So very excited about this sort of very unique project. Will be sort of first of its kind in the area, obviously new to Arlington, and we will construction will be underway shortly, and we are hoping that it wraps up in early summer. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, that's great news on at least two fronts. One is, again, Arlington's so good at getting these grants, and we really appreciate hearing about them all the time. Second thing, though, is, I mean, I'm sure you've spent a good amount of time on the bike path. People, I think, know because I mention it a lot. I've spent a lot of time there. I do all the time. It's a treasure. It is awesome to have that right there. And therefore, creating that, the ability to enjoy that, to make use of it for more people, couldn't be better.
Sure.
Thank you.
And, you know, speaking of the bikeway, using that as a segue, we actually did recently have an emergency medical incident with an adult male on the bikeway who was found responsive, and I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge 4 staff from Arlington Police Department in particular, and those are Officers Michael Foley, Jennifer McGurl, Daniel Stife, and Sergeant Scott Urquhart for their sort of heroics and bravery in locating and securing the site where this individual was found, and as first responders rendering both CPR and use of the AED and maintaining care of the patient until the Arlington Fire Department and Armstrong Ambulance arrived. And though unresponsive at the start of providing services, you know, they were able to restore breathing and pulse on site and secure the individual for transport to a local area hospital. So they were recently commended and received a life-saving medal for their extraordinary work that day on the bike path.
Great. Kudos to them for sure, and then also to you, because that was a very smooth segue. You could always take my seat. Let's talk about the Nagaokakyo. We had the students in here. There's a student exchange, but of course, for a good reason that you'll talk about, the mayor and a small entourage of officials came along with the students this year. We just had them in our studio just the last couple of days ago, and it was wonderful. It always is. It's a great visit from the students here at ACMi. We have a lot of fun, but tell us about the importance of this particular visit.
It's great, and thank you for hosting. I did, you know, hear from them that they were quite excited to be up here, and they enjoyed their visit to ACMi. This year actually marked the 40th anniversary of the town of Arlington's sister city relationship with Nagaokakyo, Japan. So because of that, you know, Mayor Kengo Nakakoji came with a delegation with members of the Nagaokakyo City Council and other employees of the city. And they have been here for roughly the past week. I know the student delegation, which is much larger, has been here for closer to 10 days. Both of their visits just wrapped up over the past couple days. So aside from the 40th anniversary of our sister city relationship, this was also the 20th anniversary of our student exchange with Nagaokakyo, Japan. So to commemorate this sort of momentous occasion, we have been participating in a number of activities over the course of the past week, and both the students and the mayoral delegation have been meeting with town and school officials, local host families, really experiencing and immersing themselves in Arlington, and participating in a bunch of commemorative events. I will call out that last weekend we did hold a really nice reception at Town Hall for town and school officials, host families, as well as the mayoral delegation. And it was attended by the Consul General of Japan in Boston. So Consul General Suzuki attended and gave some really nice remarks, and we were happy to host that event in Arlington Town Hall. The delegation also joined us at town meeting on Monday night, and the mayor had the opportunity to address the town meeting body, as well as, the delegation got to watch in on our legislative session, which is, quite unique. In following that, there was, a visit to the Town Hall Gardens, where we have a commemorative bench honoring Dick Smith, a longtime and well-known and well-respected resident who actually established this sister city relationship just over 40 years ago. So much of what we did was to commemorate Mr. Smith's work. And then finally, just yesterday morning, we wanted to do something to commemorate not only the 40 years that have already transpired, but to do something that perhaps looks ahead to the next 40 years. And on Summer Street, right outside of the Arlington Police Department, we sort of jointly planted a Yoshino cherry tree to commemorate this anniversary and our sister city relationship, and hope that it will serve as a marker and symbol for each year that they visit, for something that their delegation and students to see. And as it sort of grows, it will symbolize sort of the growth and strengthening of our bond and our relationship with our sister city in Japan.
I think that's a great way to do that. And you mentioned trees. I see a segue. Tell us about Arbor Day activities.
Sure. So Arbor Day was also this past week. I want to call out that Arlington was again named by the Arbor Day Foundation a Tree City USA. That is a designation we've been getting for well over a decade. But this year, for the 6th consecutive year, we also received a sort of additive or special award called the Tree USA Growth Award, that is for us demonstrating environmental improvement and an outstanding level of tree care through our wonderful forestry division, as well as our amazing tree warden, Tim LeQueve. So I noted that we did plant sort of that commemorative tree outside the police department. We've also already this spring planted 150 bare root trees out in the public right-of-way. So our forestry division has been hard at work, and next we'll be shifting to doing some tree plantings within the Mount Pleasant Cemetery. So, kudos to the DPW team for, getting all this work done in a short period of time and in advance of Arbor Day. But I also wanted to give a special shout out to Barrett Tree Service East. They participated in the Massachusetts Arborists Association Arborist Day of Service, and they contributed a significant level of volunteer effort through their professionals. And this year that was held at McLennan Park, where they did a pretty far-reaching amount of pruning throughout the grounds there to improve the canopy and help maintain the health of the trees there. So thanks to them for their volunteer efforts and for choosing Arlington.
Yeah, I have to say, Tree City USA, it makes a ton of sense, and especially going back a decade or more, as you say. It doesn't take much to know, to find out that people care deeply about the tree canopy in this town. And the town itself and its activities reflects that passion. So this is great, and let's hope that the tree for the Nagaokakyo tree grows and grows, and also that the rest of our canopy joins it.
Indeed.
We are speaking, as I mentioned at the outset, at the beginning of May. At the end of May, obviously, we are all looking forward to Memorial Day and all it symbolizes. But there are preparations going on even now, and I think you want to tell us something about those.
Sure. So we are currently seeking volunteers for these Memorial Day preparations, and specifically our Flags on Graves program, which is a significant undertaking and does require a lot of volunteer assistance. And the core aim of the program, it's operated by the Veterans Services Director, Phil McGovern, is to prepare for Memorial Day by placing flags on Arlington veterans' graves. So, they've all been identified and mapped out with particular markers or stickers, and we all have this in a GIS database. But it's a matter of then proceeding systematically through the entire cemetery, and it covers a significant amount of acreage, and making sure that there is an American flag placed neatly, right at graveside to commemorate those sort of fallen veterans. So we are seeking volunteers on Saturday, May 4th, Sunday, May 5th, and again on Saturday, May 11th, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. You don't have to RSVP, just show up to Mount Pleasant Cemetery, enter on Medford Street, and proceed to that central location, and you'll be given the tools and the flags needed to participate in really this very rewarding activity. I personally have had the opportunity to do it on a few different scenarios, and it is, number one, remarkable to know just how many veterans there are from Arlington, but it really has a meaningful visual impact when you're done at the end of the day, and you can look out over a section of the cemetery and see sort of this field of small new American flags. So.
Yeah, it's important work, and oftentimes I have to say people have their different opinions about this. For myself, September and May, the great months to be in New England for sure, and out and about, out in Mount Pleasant Cemetery doing something meaningful. Let's hope that people respond as we expect they will. Anything that we are missing?
I think that'll do it.
All right. I have been speaking with Jim Feeney. He has joined us here in the studio to describe a whole bunch of different things going on in Arlington, as usual. We really appreciate Jim's time. He spends a lot of it, and he spends some of it with us. So we appreciate that. We appreciate your being here as well. I'm James Milan. This is the Town Hall Update. We'll see you next time.